Welcome back to CFB Nation. I'm your host, Nino Brown. I got my co-host at the bottom of the side of the screen. Excuse me, D now, Mr. Get It Done. And we're talking Devy Darling's episode 5, Walker Howard. D now, how we doing?
Not too bad. I'm excited about this one. I'm a big Walker Howard guy.
I got a nickname for him. I'm gonna bring it up a little later. When I was doing the research, I know you're never gonna unsee it. Now, after I said it to you in the green room, it just came out. I'm like, man, this guy looks like something. But one thing that looks good, that's his game, right? 6'1", 195 pounds, 4-star recruit from St. Thomas Small High School, right? I seen he was number 5, number 6, number 7 in the 2022 class. Consensus says he's number 6 overall. He committed to LSU. And then this year he hit the transfer portal after redshirt year, went to Ole Miss. He got a howitzer, right? He got zip on the ball. I like that he steps in all his throws and no half stepping off the back foot. Everything he's got gas. He's got good arm strength for the deep ball. He's got mobility in the pocket. He's got quick feet. 4.40 shuttle drill and a 4.7 40-yard dash. All right. I can see why you like him. I can see why you're excited. He was a 2020-2021 Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year, right? And we're going to flex him a little bit because some of his stats coming out of St. Thomas More High School will make, your eyes pop. He was 66% completed, right, for 3,000 yards. This is the touchdown interception ratio is just stupid. 35 touchdowns to 4 picks. They were 10-0 state championship. Dina. 35 to 4. Like,
yep.
You're missing, numbers here. That's like what, one pick every
2.5 games.
Jeez. I mean, Come on. Like, that's insane, bro. Like, the kid's got it. There was the reason why he didn't get on the field is because they had Garrett at the 2 spot, right? Newsaniah, and then they had Daniels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knew really what was going on that year going into it. Daniels ended up blossoming, kind of stepping into that role, not just using his legs, was able to become a complete QB. So nobody else got to, show themselves. But he is a dude, right? He had 6 attempts for 33 yards total at LSU. Only 5, which is 5.5 yards per attempt as a freshman. It was just slight, right? He's redshirted. It was just a little bit here. But he went to Ole Miss. And this is what I love. There's a little story behind it, right? When he decided he was going to enter the portal and said, I don't know where I'm going to go. Now, his father, who used to be an LSU Tiger from 92 and 95. This is why I think the story is crazy, right? And this is why the whole Darling of it just kind of falls right into it. He's got the talent, how the story goes. Former LSU Tiger, his dad, says, get up. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. We're going to Ole Miss for a visit. And he fell in love, right? And he transferred thinking that he was going to be the number 2 guy. But then they brought in Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State. But you kind of told me a little bit something about Spencer Sanders and his health. So talk to me about, like, Spencer Sanders coming from Oklahoma State, what he had for stats, and where you think he's at right now.
Hold on. Sorry.
It's all good.
So coming from Oklahoma State, he had a 61% completion percent for about 9,500 yards, 67 touchdowns, and 40 interceptions. But his problem was the team was so reliant on him that he was always getting so beat up and either miss a game, partial game, multiple games. And I want to say he had a shoulder issue on his throwing arm. So that's kind of a red flag there. But circling back, Louisiana Gatorade Player of the Year is impressive for all the athletes that are down there in
Mhm.
Louisiana. So that right there is impressive. And then um going back to his dad, just
Dude,
random day, hey, wake up.
yeah.
We're going to Ole Miss. Like, that's hilarious.
Lane Train knows how to sell them, right? Lane Train
Oh
could
yeah.
sell a cherry popsicle to a lady in white gloves. That's just what he does, right? He's a slick talker. He knows how to talk out the side of his mouth. He just gets it done. He fits well, at Ole Miss. But he saw the potential in Walker Howard. He wanted. He's like, all right, I want this long potential. He got all of his
Mm-hmm.
eligibility. Give me that, right? I don't have to go. I can get it in the portal. I can pull Lincoln Riley. I can go get it in the portal. I don't have to go get it through the recruitment process. That's what he did. He went and got himself. You recruited him. You put him on the map for me. I'll just take him. I'll take him
Yep.
over here. So now he's primed, and we're hearing that Spencer Sanders might still have somewhat of a injury going into the summer workouts. So maybe Walker Howard, will get a little bit more reps. Obviously, Jackson Dot is the dude for right now as the QB1, but he's only there for this year. Everybody expects him to go to the NFL draft next year in this somewhat heavy class. So bringing back to Walker Howard being Darling, right? Because in the spring game for Ole Miss, my dude went off, right? He was accountable for 4 total touchdowns, 11 out of 13 for 183 yards, okay? And now you're giving this kid a dog freshman wide receiver in Aiden Williams, right? You're giving him Trey Harris, a La Tech transfer, who with Smoke Harris went off for 1,000 yards last year, okay? You got him. You're bringing in Zachary Franklin, who was like 1,600 yards and almost, 17 touchdowns.
Slept on in the portal.
I'm not going to comment about that because that's a red flag to me when you're slept on that long and you're that good. So we'll see if it was a product of the system or whether you got that in you. But we know he can put up numbers if you can get him the ball. So
Mm-hmm.
you get that guy on the outside. Now they lost. What they lose? Marshall, right? The kid was balling out. Chris Marshall, is that what it was? He was balled out in the spring. He's transferred. There's another receiver they had that got suspended and kicked off the team. I want to say his
Mm-hmm.
last name was Marshall. So they lose that. He was already talking about tight ends. He likes Trigg. He likes Cade, the transfer from Memphis. He says those are good targets for him. Is there a chance that we could see a little Walker Howard this year?
Oh, absolutely. If Spencer Sanders is still kind of dealing with the injury, I see him more as like a player coach this year. I
Okay.
don't think we really see much of him. And Jackson Dart, I think, is just too inconsistent. So I think there'll be a time where the lane train is like, all right, let's see what this kid has.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting because he came here thinking there's a shot, and I
Mm-hmm.
think like the door might not be shut even after Sanders transferred in there. I'm not going to change my story. I've been off the Jackson Dot train. I packaged him into the Keaton Slovis and JT Daniels mix of USC quarterbacks that just go from team to team. He's going to Ole Miss, but he really hasn't balled out as much as he has played with his eye makeup. So, he cares too much about the Legion of Doom look on his face, I think, than he does about, throwing 3,000 yards and, 25 touchdowns.
Yep.
But I'd like to see him get on there. I like to see Walker Howard be able to get his presence. Hey, if they get blowout games, he's coming in.
Oh,
Now you
absolutely.
come in and you give Lane Train a little salt bay, a little taste of that. He's been known to say, "Well, I'm not just gonna let this go." But before we break away, okay, Walker Howard, I'm gonna ask you this one because he's a Devy Darling to us, right? In front of him, the guys in this class, Cade, which you spoke about a little bit, Connor Wegman, Ty Simpson, Drew Aller, Devin Brown, and Walker Howard. If we were to go back right now, where would you re-rank Walker Howard in that top 6?
I would say probably third or fourth.
Yeah, I would go Cade, Drew,
Mm-hmm.
Connor, Walker. I I
See, I
don't.
would put Ty Simpson over Connor.
Ty Simpson's not. We're not going to get into that right now.
No, that's a
We can't.
conversation for another
That's going
time.
to be a yeah, exactly. Because if he don't get on the field this year,
Oh, I
that's
think he's got to
invalid.
do it.
That's an invalid comment. We're gonna have to do a special breakdown on that. I think that's coming down the pipeline. All right. Walker Howard is a Devy Darling because Walker Howard has great potential to lead any collegiate team. He's coming in with a top 5 recruiting, talent. He's got the big arm. He's got the feet. He's mobile. Now that there's a chance, if not this year, next year, he's going to have these pieces around him. Trey Harris may not be there. Zachary Franklin may not be there. But Aiden Williams is going to be that alpha. Aiden Williams reminds me of, I don't like comps, especially when they're this young. But his body structure, his height, his game, it reminds me A.J. Brown, the build. Okay, if he's only a young kid, 18 years old. You pair that with a kid like Walker Howard, aka Biff from Back to the Future. All right, I waited to the end to do it because I didn't want But if Biff and Aiden get together, bro, that's gonna be something magical. And we're talking Devy, so you can get Walker Howard. He might not be round 1. You could probably get him in the back end of round 2, early round 3. Because after round 1, people in Devy drafts and everything, they all target the RB and that wide receiver because they get nervous that they're going to miss out on the turn. So if you don't get a top 6 pick in a Devy draft and you're 7, 8, or 9, go get your alpha wide receiver, right? And on your turn, or even coming back in the 3rd, go get Walker Howard because he's going to be a guy. Now, I'm not saying if it's a startup, get Walker Howard first because he's not playing this year. Not at that level.
Not significant, yeah.
But if I'm talking about a supplemental Devy draft where you're picking your guys, go get him. I'm Nino Brown. That's D now, a.k.a. Mr. Get It Done. This is episode 5 of Devy Darlings. We talking Walker Howard, CFB Nation. We out.